I'm sorry. This just can't go on any longer. Babe, I'm gonna leave you. Hi guys, it's Paul from Crowborough Guitar Tuition. Welcome back to another video lesson. This week it is Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin, and it's a really lovely little acoustic piece. If you listen to the track, and you'll see on the tab, which you can get in the description, there are lots of kind of little overdubs and stuff. I'm really going to look at the kind of, I think, 3, possibly 4 main sections. So let's crack on that without further ado. So our main progression at the beginning, this finger-picked piece, really is just a few chords picked around. We're going to refinger some of them slightly to make it easier, but we've basically got an A minor, then we've got an A minor 7 over G, so we're just going to pick up that third finger, plop it down at the 3rd fret on the E string. Then we've got a D over F sharp, down to an F, and then an E. Now that's the main kind of crux of the progression, okay? So, starting on that A minor shape, we're going to just arpeggiate around that. You'll be able to tell by looking at the tab which notes to play, and you can use whatever fingers you like. To be honest, I use my thumb and these 3 fingers most of the time. Okay, so that's the basic progression there. Then, like I said, we're going to lift up that 3rd finger and put it at the 3rd fret on the E strings to get that low G. So what's happening there is we're putting our 3rd finger on that G, but we're also going to put our 4th finger down at the 3rd fret on the E string there. On the B string, sorry. So when we lift that 4th finger off, we're going to have our 1st finger back behind it. So we can leave that 1st finger down where it was from that A minor, just plonk the 4th finger down at the 3rd fret on the B string ahead of it, and then when you get to it, just take that 4th finger off. Okay, then we're going to move to the D over F sharp. Now, we're going to finger it a little bit differently to how we normally would. So I want to leave that 1st finger from our A minor 7 where it is. I'm going to use my 2nd and 3rd fingers to make that part of the D chord. We don't need to worry about this top E string because we're not using it. So thumb needs to come over to the 2nd fret on the E. And so we've got my 2nd finger at the 2nd fret on the G string, and I've got my 3rd finger at the 3rd fret on the B string. So really what's happening here is where you would normally have your 1st finger for a D, you're using your 2nd finger. Now I'm keeping that 1st finger on the B string back behind my 3rd finger because I'm going to want to take that 3rd finger off in a minute to get to it. So I'm going to have this. So leaving it where it is from the previous chord is going to make life easier. Okay. And then we've just got a normal F bar chord down to an E. Then the progression really after that, it's all a variation on that theme. So the main thing is you're going to be using that 4th finger to just add embellishments. Now, to be honest, I don't really pay much attention to the tab and where it adds these. I just do what I feel. So, for instance, here I use my 4th finger on this A minor shape at the 3rd fret on the E string, at that G note there, and I use that to embellish it. So you can do it like that, or you can whatever you fancy. Add the ad-libs as you want, but you just move around the same progression, following what we've just done with our fingers there. Now it changes slightly after that last bit. It goes to this chord here, which I think, I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head, some kind of F9, I think. What have we got added in there? A D, so that's a 6, isn't it? So what we're doing there is, let's take our 1st finger for a bar. So the 1st finger is going to bar at the 1st fret. Third finger goes at the 3rd fret on the D string. Second finger at the 2nd fret on the G string. And then we're putting our 4th finger down at the 3rd fret on the B string. So you've got this kind of triangle with your 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers here. Like that. And you've got your 1st finger back at the bar at the top. So we're starting on that low F. And then we're going to have to take that 4th finger off the next time. That can be quite tricky just because that bar there, to be barring across that 1st fret, taking off that 4th finger, it can be hard for that note to sound at the 1st fret there on the B, under your bar. Because of how close you are to the nut, it can be a little bit tricky sometimes, particularly if you've got high action. So if you're on an electric playing, you'll be absolutely fine, but on an acoustic, you may just have to really squeeze down. And then we go back to our E, but with our 4th finger at the 3rd fret. So same place our 4th finger is going to be as for that F. So we're going to that 3rd fret on the E, on the B string there with our 4th finger to an open. So that kind of is how you finish off that that little section there. Now one of the other main sections is this kind of bit that goes. And so on. Now actually that's really simple. We're going to take an A minor. That's our first chord. And then we're going to take that same shape and we're going to take it so that our 2nd and 3rd fingers are at the 9th frets and our 1st finger's at the 8th fret. And we're going to play the same thing, but we're going to have that open E still and that open A beneath it. Now I use my thumb to avoid hitting that low E string because I don't want that ringing out. And then we just take it down 2 frets, so 2nd and 3rd fingers are at the 7th fret, 1st finger's at the 6th fret. Still using those open strings of the A and the E around it. So you get those really nice chords using those open strings there. Dead simple. Now the other section is a section that goes like this. So all we're doing there is we're going to start, we've got this open A at the bottom all the time. Okay, so I use my thumb for that. Put your 1st finger, so I get my thumb on the back of the neck here, so I've got a bit more reach. 1st finger at the 2nd fret on the D string. 3rd finger at the 4th fret on the G. 4th finger at the 5th fret on the E. B. Now what I also do though is I keep my 2nd finger, even though I'm not using it in this kind of shape, I keep it back at the 3rd fret behind my 4th finger, because in a moment I'm going to slide up the neck. And having it there in position already just makes life really simple. So that's all we're doing in terms of that first chord. Then we want to kind of slide up so that our 3rd finger, because that 4th finger is going to come out of the play for a moment here. So our 3rd finger is up at the 9th fret. So we've slid up. You want to get that nice sound of that slide. So that will kind of just, as the notes are ringing, it will come with you. Still we're going to hit an open A. Now what I'm doing here, you could do it a different way, but I like to use my 1st finger to bar across at the 7th fret, across those top 4 strings. I use my 3rd finger at the 9th fret on the G, and I use my 2nd finger at the 8th fret on the B. That's why I said it was a good idea to keep that 2nd finger behind your 4th finger in that initial chord, because as you make the slide, that finger's already in the right place. Okay? So that's our next shape. Then all we're going to do for the next one is we're going to take off that 3rd finger. So we've got And then we're just going to take an A minor shape where we've got our second and third fingers at the 7th fret, first finger at the 6th fret. Okay, so just very simple shapes. And you just cycle that round and round and round. So very, very simple. That's really the three main sections, that kind of initial finger picked section. You've got the chord bit, you've got that lovely kind of, I really love this bit. I love that little chord section. Don't know how to describe what section it is. The only other section really is using the same chords you started with, is that bit at certain points in the song. And so on. All you're doing there is using the same chords as we did. And round, okay? So just using chords and strumming them rather than picking through them. So like I said, there are lots of other overdubs and bits, little noises in the background that you can look at if you want to. But if you're just kind of wanting to play the basic framework of this song and have someone sing along with you, that will get you through the whole thing. It's a really lovely piece. Take that initial finger pick section slow to begin with. Just work at being accurate on getting your fingers in the right place. Once you get the pattern, it'll all flow through. Once you're sure of what chord's coming next, you can get to that shape and you won't need to worry then about what's going on. So a nice one there, a little bit tricky at times, but just a beautiful acoustic piece. So enjoy playing it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Hi guys, thanks for watching. For more guitar tips and video lessons, click on the subscribe button down below and let me know in the comments what songs or video lessons you'd like to see. If you want to keep up with some of our news, you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or you can always check out our website, crowboroughguitartuition.com.